Foundry fires shot again on PlayStation fanboys who are saying that Black Myth Wukong runs like a dream on PlayStation 5 and especially input lag with the frame gen from 30 FPS to 60 FPS. So if you don't know what this is, obviously we know that a bunch of games released on PlayStation that just didn't run good, right? Didn't run well at all. And if you hear a PlayStation person talk about it, they talk about it like it's glorious, how everything is all rainbows and sunshine. One of those games is Black Myth Wukong, right? We know it came out. We know the PlayStation struggled to run that game in any meaningful type of way, right?
Agreed.
So now I feel like Digital Foundry's been coming out and like saying things lately and doing different things that are weird for them. Like they're not normally doing this stuff, but let's hear this short clip where where they kind of bring it to light that some of these gallopers out here may just be glazing the situation.
Love how instead of saying that it runs like crap, he says that people are not sensitive. Like he's trying to polish the way that he's delivering the fact that it runs like crap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. So I mean, it's just I thought it was funny because obviously we live in this world where I don't know what type of glasses the gallopers wear that they see. It's like it's like rose tinted, like that they see everything just nicer in their minds, right? Like they feel like the world that they live in is in a better shape. You know what they remind me of? This is who gallopers remind me of, and you guys who know the game will understand. We Happy Few. So I feel like the gallopers are the residents of We Happy Few, and they take their happy pill and they keep it moving, and all the fire and craziness happening around them where PlayStation is literally not knowing which way is up. The games are not hitting. They can't make anything that is exciting for anyone. They don't know who their fan base is as far as like who are buying their games, and the fan base that talks for them is completely ignored and left out of the circle for years on end before getting a slight little tidbit of something. And I don't know, I feel like this here is just kind of exposing the idea that even though 100% like there's no doubt that the game does not run well, it's only running at 30 FPS, but they're using some type of frame generation, but it's not like DLSS frame generation that works immaculately. It's just them doing, damage control and just kind of trying to keep this, idea that, oh, the game came to PlayStation and the PlayStation's so great. So look at us, ha ha ha. When meanwhile, it's like the game just doesn't run well and they don't want to say it, right? They don't want to acknowledge it. What do you think, guys?
I'm getting to the point where I don't know if we can acknowledge these gallopers as gallopers. Horses are strong. Horses have standards. Horses eat quality. These are pigs eating slop. They're eating each other's feces and fecal matter at this point. This is they have been reduced to the piggers who just they drink from the pisser. They eat whatever slop Sony throws at them. They're pigs now.
Wow.
They're not gallopers anymore.
Love it. Yes.
They're
please,
hogs.
let's get that going. First of all,
hog, swine.
Anything.
Another word. We gotta find a catchy way of saying it though.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Seriously, I love horses, and the fact that these gallopers have taken
no, they're not gallopers anymore because they're not holding them to a high enough standard to be considered gallopers.
Oh, I love this.
Not gallopers anymore.
Yes, but listen, they should be fine with these new budgets, right? And the way that the graphics are gonna be on these new PlayStation games. But we're talking about, they're saying they don't know, they didn't see it, everything was fine, but they're not buying these games, right? So what are we necessarily talking about here? People that haven't really paid up for it, or the ones that did, maybe, like, they should be fine with these new games. There shouldn't be a problem then if they're okay with anything that they're fed. But the reality is that these games are not selling the way that they should on PlayStation.
I mean, 90% of Black Myth sales are on PC.
Yep.
Facts.
So
100%. And the piggies claim like they were all playing it here, but we know that they weren't, right? There's not that many of them that were playing it there. And at the end of the day, admittedly, Xbox had a moment that wasn't that bad, but it got crucified for, which was Redfall, right? And Redfall came out and it didn't hit the way that the world wanted it to hit. And that was a pivotal moment for them where they changed everything. And since then, like they've been locked in, right? Game's been great. Everything plays great. There's no BS. Where I feel like the exact opposite has happened for the piggies in their little pigsty box that they have, right? And it's like, it's just been downhill. Like, I don't even know from where. Like, I couldn't tell you where it's been downhill, but I don't know where the top of the hill is. PlayStation 4? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that was it. Like, that was the highest that they've been. And it's just been downhill since the PlayStation 5 came out. Nothing remarkable has come out of this generation for them. I mean, can you think of anything that PlayStation has put out this generation for the PlayStation 5 that has had any type of impact on PlayStation or gaming like the PlayStation 4? Exactly, that PlayStation 4 generation had, right? A remaster can't have impact, right? These sequels haven't had impact. What have they released that has made a wave? Because Xbox has released quite a few.
The biggest game they released was Spider-Man 2. I mean, Ragnarok isn't Ragnarok on PS4 also?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's on PS4 also. So I don't think that's PS5 only. So I would have to go Spider-Man 2 would be their biggest game they released. I mean, Returnal flopped. Stellar Blade, okay for a new IP, but not okay for a Sony standard.
Is it though? Is it? It kicked Conker's ass, and
I mean,
Lego
they sold like what, 3
2
million, 3 million.
What game are we talking about?
Stellar Blade.
Oh, Stellar Blade only sold
of
like 2
Sony,
million.
I think that they have a different standard now.
But that was 2 million after time. It like announced it was like 1 million. It's like over time, sure, maybe it grew. It's all in the same bucket.
Yeah,
that's a problem though. Even with Spider-Man 2, right? You think of what it made over time, and then you look at their bills and how much they spend making this game, and you think of the marketing and what goes to Disney and everything else. If it wasn't in that 350 mil, then that's a lot of other money coming out. So did it cut even? I don't think that's what they're in business for. They want to make profit.
Oh, I don't think any game really did great for them sales-wise other than maybe God of War. If we're going sales-wise as a success for Sony, it's probably only God of War.
And that's the old generation. This one really didn't go crazy. I mean, we saw the numbers. It's not like anything huge came from it. And like even like Spider-Man 2, it's like that's the biggest IP in the world for the most part. Like Spider-Man is huge and it's not theirs, and they barely did what, 12 mil, I think the last numbers that we just saw on that thing, 12 mil.
And I think it needed 15 to hit the black.
Which is for what? It's worthless. It's a waste of a game release, right? And better off if they never made the game. That's like the running thing about PlayStation though, right? Like all the games that you think of are not first party, right? Like you brought up Stellar Blade. That's not a first party game,
nope.
Right? Like that's just a game that they helped fund it at the end or whatever the case is. They money had it. And that's it, right? Like this is what this generation is known for so far, right? Is their money hats. It's not what first party has produced. They've produced sequels that nobody cares about. You know what I'm saying? Like
when we go through the entire history of PlayStation, though, their first party has never been what has carried their brand. It's always been carried by third party. And that's why
I feel like PlayStation 4 towards the later parts of it, they did show up in a meaningful way.
Yeah, they had a little 6-year run.
Yeah, they had a little spurt where they were actually bringing new IP, good or bad, at least, big investment, new IP with the likes of Horizon, which again, nobody likes it like that, but still it was a big investment. It was a big risk for them to go from the first person shooter to a third person action adventure game, right? So they took that chance, right? Days Gone was new IP that they made that fell victim to The Last of Us 2 being so hyped and around that time. Last of Us 2 was on, yeah, it was the PlayStation 4 gen, came out towards the end there. So like that game, was a big deal. But Last of Us 1 really was from PlayStation 3. So but talking about new IP, you had that, you had the other one, you had Ghost of Tsushima, which, for all intents and purposes was, a big game for them, and it was a hyped game. And it's just like all those moments that they had in the PlayStation 4 gen. I feel like that's really only where it was, where there was actual excitement around it,
Yeah.
is gone, right? Not They haven't been able to produce anything exciting from their side, right? There's nothing exciting coming from PlayStation that we know of. And honestly, when you start, eliminating the different companies that just made a game and stuff like that, and you start thinking about when something exciting might come, well, Ghost of Yote, look, the game looks horrible. All right. Somehow it looks worse than Ghost of Tsushima did. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how they managed to do it, but somehow it looks worse based off what they showed us. Can the game turn out to be I mean, if it's another Ghost of Tsushima, but that's what they're doing, right? Like just like regurgitating the stuff that they've done before, right? They just throw a
Yeah,
different skin
that's
on
the
it.
It's
problem,
kind of
and here we go with a new character, and you have to kind of engage with their story and kind of connect with it when you had already a character that people felt connected to. The decisions that they make just make absolutely no sense to me.
it feels like it feels like they do the same thing on the video game side that they do on the movie side. They make these one and done type movies, and you're getting the same type of one and done type games, and they can't make sustainable franchises. I mean, how many, like, if you look on the movie side, how many sustainable franchises does Sony Pictures have? I can't think of any.
I think it's just their Marvel stuff,
Yeah,
right?
Marvel stuff,
So and
and that's not
then
that's not
Venom.
theirs.
Exactly. I mean, that's
So
the problem, right?
yeah,
That's the
and
problem.
and I think we're seeing kind of the same thing on the game side. I mean, they've been a little bit more successful with creating a God of War and a God of War,
But God of
and
War is not theirs either, technically, right?
yeah,
Like
so
they don't own the God of War, right? Anybody could make a God
God
of
of War,
War
yeah.
game, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah, hypothetically, yeah, but
you know what I'm
yeah, it's
saying?
just like they don't have that's why their CEO said we don't have enough IP, because they don't. I mean, they have Gran Turismo that they can lean on.
Which honestly is like a joke at this
Yeah,
point, right? Like it used to be big, now it's really not. Like it's
yeah,
if
it's like
if Xbox released a Forza over there, the life of Gran Turismo would be over. Like
yeah.
that's just the way it would be.
Like, I mean, I like, all right, so on Nintendo side, you have your tentpole IPs that that they can make for the next 20 years. Can you make Horizon for the next 20 years? Can you make God of War for the next 20 years? Can you make what else? I don't know. Just
Well,
trying
we know they couldn't do God of War because they had to completely redo it to bring it
yeah.
back,
Can you go
right?
back and do Uncharted for the next 20 years? Like,
The Last of Us, can they
Last
go
of Us?
ahead and do anything like that? It's and you said it, one and done. And that's why they continue to go ahead and remaster and bring back the Last of Us. It's like a moment in time for them that they can't seem to kind of figure out the formula to go ahead and deliver again. They're hanging on to what they used to be, and that can't be moving forward everything you produce when it comes to like great games or the games that really grab the attention of the consumer.
Yeah. Because I mean, what? Astrobot's not gonna do it. Ratchet and Clank's not gonna
It
do
ain't
it.
it.
I
They
mean,
just
Ratchet Clank is done pretty much.
yes, I mean they do need some new IPs, or they need something. I don't know where they're gonna get it from, but they own Ghostbusters. Did they make Ghostbusters? Why don't they
They
make a
own the
Ghostbusters?
IP Ghostbusters.
Yeah, don't got a Ghostbusters video game. That's a waste.
I mean, there are Ghostbuster video games, but I don't think they must have leased out the name or something like that because
It's not
Ghostbusters
first party. That's what I'm saying. They don't have like a
is
first
not
party.
first party.
Yeah,
That's everywhere. So something they must have done with that doesn't work. I mean, and this is the problem, right? They don't have creatives anymore, right?
yeah,
They are not looking for risk like that. They're trying to capitalize on IP. Remember they hit that whole business update
Yes.
or whatever it
Oh, I
was,
remember.
and it was all about how to take their IP and to use it in other crap. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all it was. They want to do movies, TV shows, music. They want to do everything else except for make new and exciting games, right? I think they feel like they made like good enough ones and now are just trying to figure out how to milk it, right? Like that's why Horizon is getting why we've gotten so much Horizon, right? You got Horizon 1, Horizon 2, you got Horizon the PSVR, you got Lego Horizon, you got an online Horizon that they're making, right? Like they're trying to milk these things. And so far, let's see, the Call of the Mountain for the PlayStation VR flopped, right?
Yep.
It does not have. So Herman was out here saying how Horizon was their biggest, most important IP, right? Until Concord
Yep.
was going to come take that over. But since it didn't take that over because it's dead, right? Horizon is their biggest IP, supposedly, yet so far, every attempt that they've made on using the Horizon brand outside of the mainline game have flopped.
Yeah.
Lego Horizon, no one cared. Horizon Call of the Wild or Call of the Mountain, whatever the hell that VR game was, no one cared. The world is not interesting. Nobody wants spin-offs. Nobody needs more of that world. You already told these boring ass stories. Kill this chick. You know what I'm saying? Just kill her off.
Kill him off,
And bring the
seriously.
rise of somebody who's exciting.
Yo, that's what's wild. Like they don't know where to go ahead and do it. They killed off Joel. Like that wasn't it. Go ahead and kill this. Pa, pa, laid her out. Bring someone else new. She
Yeah.
is not it.
Yeah.
Man.
Killing Joel was a
That's it.
mistake.
That's what they need to do. They love to move
Absolutely.
on from these characters. It's time to move on from this chick. She is not it. Bring someone exciting. I thought even like in the Lego Horizons, I was like, okay, well, at least she'll be more bubbly. And here you go, they ruined the game. And it's like this is what she's missing personality.
And
And
Lego
I
games
get
are all
it with
about
the
personality.
Exactly.
exactly. It's just I get that the world is beautiful, but you need to go ahead and engage your players to that protagonist so that they can want to live through their story, right? Go ahead and play that out and connect with that. If you're not doing that, I think she's got to go. That may be the answer for that particular
But it might
IP.
be too late. You know what I'm saying? Because Horizon and her are so intertwined. If you think of Horizon, if it's not Forza, right? Because that's the first Horizon that comes to my mind because it's
Yep.
actually good, is
Aloy.
Aloy or
Yeah,
however you pronounce her name, right? And it's like she's the worst character ever created. Like she is bland, she is uninteresting. I don't care. She's
Oh,
boring, right? She's boring. She's boring to play as. She's boring to see her talk. She's like the worst character, right? And I don't know why PlayStation. Well, Herman. I mean, I know why, right? Herman created her, right? That's his baby, and he's in charge, so he wants to treat it like his studio is the one who's making good stuff. I mean, think about it. No other franchise, no other brand has had any spin-off games. None of their other IP have done anything outside of their mainline games. There's no Ghost spin-off game. There's no Days Gone spin-off game.
Well,
There's no Spider-Man spin-off game. I mean, they have their own, but I don't consider those spin-offs. That's just like a DLC that was cut when
Yeah.
they did like Miles Morales and stuff like that.
Do you think Herman may have been jealous of Days Gone?
Yeah.
And that's why we don't have a Days Gone sequel?
I think so. I think he didn't like, I think there's a lot of politics that happened over there. And I think that he didn't like the way that there was like reception to that game.
Yeah.
Because even though it was like buggy, I think there was like a core group of people who were really into that game and into that world. And that world was way more alive than their whack ass robot filled world. Right. Even for people who like robots, Horizon ain't it, yo. Horizon ain't it.
Because Days Gone has a lot more potential long term. Like you could have made an open world Days Gone game. It has a lot more
You could have
potential than
stories
Horizon.
that could have kept going because the world itself had potential.
Yeah.
Whereas, this world just doesn't. It just doesn't. And this is what they have. It's what they're stuck with. And as long as Herman is in charge, I don't know how far they're willing to go with Aloy and where they're going to try to stick her. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, every place.
You don't think
I
they've
know where they're
learned
going to
their
stick her.
lesson?
Gonna stick her in the
Where?
pisser eventually.
Oh my god.
Yes.
They're the ones who rejected the pisser. They said they're not using the pisser. They're just using their own thing.
Her time is
Oh
coming.
my god.
Really? Because they're that was the game that they brought up for the PlayStation 5 Pro.
Everyone's gonna get the pisser at some point.
Everybody's gonna get it.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good for the piggies. The fact that Digital Foundry seems to be checking them every once in a while, you know what I'm saying? Like almost like they,
Breaking the mold.
yeah, like they're breaking character for a second and like getting into like the real mode where it's like, guys, we actually love PC. We hate all of you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like their biggest thing. Like this guy right here, John Linneman, admittedly, he himself prefers retro. He's a more of a retro gamer than a new gamer. I don't think they care about any of these damn consoles, but they know where their bread is buttered. But every once in a while, they take a day. They be getting questions in to like their user, like during their podcast, they get like user questions. I feel like they ask themselves these questions when they want to talk some crap. You know what I'm saying? They put themselves in this situation with these questions. Oh my god. That's hilarious.